This is a friendly reminder that we are here for entertainment purposes only. Check with your healthcare professionals before making any lifestyle or medicine changes. What we're talking about is our clinical experience and what we've seen. You can consult me as a doctor, or you can consult my guest and get all of your questions answered, but we can help to educate you a bit and allow you to think a little differently. Again, always consult your medical professionals before making any lifestyle changes. Thank you.
All right. Welcome back to Cast 11. I'm Megan McClenahan, and with me is Brian, Dr. Brian from Arizona Metabolic Health. Welcome back. It's been a while.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Just working, taking care of sick people, trying to make them healthy and keep them away from me.
I love that. The doctor that calls you back, goes on hikes with you. You don't have to wait. You don't have to go through some long answering service. He calls you right back. You can text him. He will call you, text you back.
Yeah, and my wife's my office manager, so if I don't call you back, she'll be bugging me every minute till I
Love
call
it.
you.
Love it. So I know that we're rolling into the holidays.
Yes.
You excited for Christmas?
Absolutely.
Me too.
Yeah.
I got to decorate the house.
It actually slows down for me during Christmas, and then January gets really busy because people are like, I don't want to go there. I'll wait. Unless they have end of year or deductible stuff they want to take care of. But, yeah.
I believe it. So talking about the holidays, I kind of wanted to talk about the holiday blood sugar curve that people get.
Yeah, the holidays are a tough time health-wise, because in-laws might be visiting, stress, political differences, those kind of things. Plus, people aren't working out as much because they're busy. They have a lot to do, going shopping and being distracted, traveling a lot, not sleeping, all those things. And then being exposed to a lot of people also. So all those things play a role in people getting sick, gaining weight during the holidays. The average American gains 1 to 2 pounds during the holidays. And people who struggle with weight already average 5 pounds or more during the holidays. Wow. And then New Year's, you're trying to get it off. So, the best thing you do really is manage your stress, get your sleep, plan ahead, and make sure you get that exercise in. That's what keeps you away from me.
Yeah. So when you have a patient come in and say, hey, doc, how can you help me over the holidays with my metabolic health? What would that look like?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just not giving in to all the treats. There's other ways you can make it healthier. So you don't have to have, the fancy coffee drinks every day.
Right.
People don't realize how much sugar and processed seed oils and all that are in there. So there's a lot we can do. I think we learn not to, criticize what other people are eating, kind of do your own thing. And most people really don't care if you don't eat all the bread in the middle of the table or all the chips. They're happy because there's more for them.
Yeah.
So there's things you can do, tricks like going a lot of holiday parties. So if you get your one little plate and walk away from the table, because if you go to a holiday party, you'll see people standing there and they're just eating mindlessly while they're talking to someone and just grabbing everything. And so, that adds up really quickly. And so diabetics get poorly controlled, and you want to stay out of the emergency room with high sugars, and high sugars cause more infections. That also raises your blood pressure. And then again, if you're not exercising, that makes things even worse.
Right. So would you suggest maybe going for like the proteins first then?
For sure. Okay. Yeah. Filling up on proteins. The worst thing you could do, some people try to fast until they go to that big party, and then they just lose all control and eat everything. So if you eat a good protein meal before going, you do a lot better. Fill up, even having a couple glasses of water before those holiday parties does help.
Yeah. What about like alcohol and metabolic flexibility?
Yeah, alcohol is a funny one because there's a lot. Alcohol does slow the metabolic rate down. Alcohol historically has been the number one cause of cirrhosis in the world. And now number one is high fructose corn syrup, sugar, diabetes,
Seriously?
all risk factors for liver failure, liver transplant.
Wow.
Yeah, there's something called NASH, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is a precursor to cirrhosis. So the other thing that I find is during the holidays, people are doing great, and then they have a couple of drinks, they go, forget it, it's happy hour time, and then they eat all the processed food, and so alcohol lowers our inhibition and makes us do things we normally wouldn't do. Plus, it takes away your drive to exercise, and
So avoid a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, and it causes stress too, because people may say the wrong thing, because they lose their filter. All those things play a role.
Yeah. So what about managing your stress during the holidays? I know the holidays can be a really stressful time for people. I think I've gotten to the age where it's just, you kind of just learn with age to kind of manage some of it. But say you've got a client who's in a real stressful situation. How would you kind of maybe even coach them as their physician to make it easier on themselves.
Yeah,
Their
people don't
stress.
realize that, the effect of stress. I monitor continuous glucose monitors all the time.
Right.
And so a
Right.
lot of times I'll see people, they'll have a stressful day and their sugars go high, even if they're not eating any sugar, but it's the stress, the cortisol. And so managing your time is a huge one. Having boundaries with people is a huge one. Things like, not running all over. Some people just run themselves ragged, and you go, okay, I have to be at this, my uncle's house at 1 o'clock, then at 3 o'clock, I have to be here, 5 o'clock, I have to be here, and you're running the whole time and exhausted, and you can't really enjoy where you're
Right.
at. So I think
Right.
slowing down, being able to put that in a lower gear and really tempering your expectations. Everyone wants it to be perfect, and be able to be okay if something goes wrong or, you miss your flight, whatever happens, so
Right.
many hectic things happening during
Right.
the holidays, but just having the right perspective, I think, counting
Right.
your blessings,
Mm-hmm.
starting out in a good place in the morning, taking a few breaths, waking up early enough so you're not rushing out the door, knocking
Mm-hmm.
everything over and being
Absolutely.
flustered. So those little
Absolutely.
things, just taking a breath,
Absolutely.
there's so many little podcasts out there or YouTube videos about how to
Right.
breathe, and we forget to breathe because we're on a overdrive stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I've seen even just going into December here and people just going in and doing my own Christmas shopping, and they're just dashing to get places. You can hear them standing in line and they're like, oh, I've got to go do this. Still, I got to do this. We got to plan this. And I've seen it just firsthand recently. But yeah,
Yeah, because
a
you
lot
can't
of
rest because you're doing so many
no.
other things. They think,
Yeah.
oh, I have to take care of this. I have to be over here. And, so
Yeah.
it gets really hectic.
It does.
Yeah, I remember one time it was Christmas Eve. My friend talked me into going to the mall with him because he forgot to get his wife something. And man, it was all guys, of course, at last
Oh my
second. But trying to
goodness.
get out of there was unreal. It was like you were at a football game or wait, hour and a
Oh
half.
no, like
I'm
a
I
mad
gotta be
dash.
somewhere. Yeah. So don't wait till the last minute. Get your stuff done
Oh
early.
my
Yeah.
goodness. I know that some people can also, throughout the holidays, I kind of want to jump back a little bit, can become really dehydrated.
Yeah,
Do you deal
absolutely.
with that?
Yeah, dehydrated because you don't have time to drink. You're not thinking about it. You're drinking alcohol. You're drinking these coffee drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And so dehydration is a huge one, especially as we
Mm-hmm.
get older, because a lot of the medications can cause dehydration. A lot of people are on water pills for keeping their blood pressure down. And they just forget to drink. Don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then have you heard the term holiday hunger?
I know. I think I know what you're getting at is kind of when you're not hungry, but you're just eating because there's so much good stuff there. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So where I was going with that was, how can you help your patients avoid hitting that holiday hunger and then showing up to a party and just like wanting to dive into everything? Because then there goes their diabetes, their glucose,
mhm.
their blood sugar. That's pretty much all the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they all run together.
Yeah.
High blood pressure, all of these
Yeah.
things.
What else does that impact?
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I first started when I was at my old practice, each of us, there were 5 partners, we each had 2,000 patients. So it was around
Whoa.
10,000 patients in our practice. And the one on call takes care of everyone's patients. So my first year, I thought, I don't want to work on Thanksgiving. I'll work the day after. The last year in 20 years that I've done that, because the day after Thanksgiving is the worst. Thanksgiving, no one wants to come in. But the next day, they realize they're holding on to salt. They can't breathe. Heart failure gets worse. Blood pressure gets high. Sugars go out of control. So the busiest time ever is the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's really a rough one. So, a lot of people just, like you're saying, they're eating the wrong things, drinking too much.
Yeah.
And, the ramifications usually happen a day or two later. And no one wants to bother you on Thanksgiving. So every year I volunteered for Thanksgiving because it was quiet. But the day after is really busy. Yeah.
Oh, I could imagine that. I can imagine that. Well, I was talking with you how we had our dog at the emergency vet the night before. Who would have known an emergency vet could even be that busy the night before Thanksgiving? So it's kind of got to be similar to like the day after Thanksgiving, because they don't want to go on the holiday itself. But then there's that day after where they're all coming in because they're like, we got this going on. We got this A, B, and C hitting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Plus you get these colds that make you more susceptible. Christmas Eve is one of the most common times for heart attacks.
Is it?
Yeah. And part of it's because the sugar fluctuations, like you were talking about, going up and down, that can break loose some of these plaques and cause blood pressure fluctuations. Everything can get out of whack.
Wow.
So
That's
so I think, again, enjoying the holidays, but not
But
taking
don't
it too
know,
serious.
but don't
get
over
too
enjoy
stressed
it.
out. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Enjoy it within reason and don't get into kind of a dangerous. So let's try and figure out what are some easy tools that we can make this holiday season easy for our viewers, health-wise.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is really staying focused on that. Just because you're going to eat a big Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas, get up in the morning, go for a nice hike, go for a walk, go out and enjoy your family and spend time together. And, and also moderation, at Thanksgiving, having just a little, you don't have to have a huge piece of every single pie that's there. So, those are things, share with people, have a bite and say, that's great. And not eat the whole thing. And it's hard because a lot of emotions are tied up too. A lot of people are stressed. They're sad because they lost a family member this year. We've been through a lot of stressful times over the last several years. And so that takes a toll also. So I think watching the stress level, like what we're talking about, make sure you prioritize sleep and exercise and make sure you're drinking enough fluids, water in particular, to make up for all the other stuff. And then if you're going to enjoy that day, but don't enjoy for the whole month. That will make a huge difference.
Right. Especially, because I know some people have multiple days that they celebrate with like different family members too. So, it's like pick one of those days to maybe enjoy it a little extra, but then go in moderation on the others.
Yeah. And that, so many of us have blended families now where we have, parents have been married 3 or 4 times and you have all these dynamics, and that can be a big stressor. It used to be, my parents were divorced when I was young. So it would be mom's house on Christmas Eve, dad's house on Christmas, and, figuring all that. But then when it gets complicated, now you have your in-laws, you have everyone else that you want to spend time with. So being able to say no sometimes is good.
It's a healthy boundary.
Yeah. And sometimes, like with my extended family, we usually celebrate in January. And then you have something to look forward to. Yeah. And that's when we're all free and you're not running around the crazy holidays. Right? So it makes it really nice. And it's a time to catch up and spend time. So, there's different things you can do that make it doesn't have to be right on Thanksgiving or right on Christmas sometimes that you see everyone. Yeah. Just getting together and spending time.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. So are you still on call then Christmas Day?
Yeah, I'm on call 24/7, but I'm on call just for my patients. I only have my small practice. So instead of having 2,400 patients, I have 400. Who are really healthy because they're taking care of themselves, so it makes it a lot easier during the holidays.
So if someone were to call you and say, hey, this is so-and-so, maybe I saw your podcast, I talked to someone, they're one of your patients, I have an emergency. Is there any chance that you could see me? Well, how would you handle that?
Yeah, I typically do. I want the long-term follow-up care because you're not it's just throwing a Band-Aid on, because you can go to anywhere, you can go to urgent care for that. So I'm really looking at the long-term relationship. Of course, all the time people come and say, look, I'm having this health problem. My specialist or my doctor's not calling me back. And of course I can help you out. Like just today I had a lady that had a really bad urinary infection. She called her urologist 3 times. No one called her back over the last 2 days. And I said, come in, we'll take care of you. It takes me a few minutes. So it wasn't a big deal. So there's a lot like that, but I'm not in urgent care per se. So, they're trained to do those kind of things, but usually it's the long-term preventing you from being sick.
What I really, really, really appreciate and respect about you though, is that if someone comes in like that and they see how much you care about like your patients and they go, hey doc, you got room for another patient? That's what I would really, that's
generally how it is. Like we were talking beforehand.
Yeah.
All of my patients are from word of mouth. None of them, and you can fire me every month, right? You don't have to keep me. So I have to do my job. And the problem is some people get locked into these you have to be my patient for 2 years. And once you're not doing your job, right, you want to be able to have that flexibility. Yeah. But I do like the long-term, obviously having the long-term relationship and finding out health problems. Some of these bigger organizations, you find out the bigger HMOs, people go and they see a different person every single time. So there's no continuity of care. So that's why it's easier for me to be on call during the holidays because I know all of my patients because there's not very many. So it makes a huge difference. Before, when I had 2,400 patients, it was a lot more challenging, plus covering for everyone else's patients that night.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, so I don't mind taking my own call because of that.
That's crazy. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that at all. So are you still currently taking patients on, new patients? Good. And how
I'm still new here. So yes, trying to build the practice and word of mouth and getting the word out.
Good. I know you're filling up pretty quick though.
Yeah, it's been great.
I love that for you. Good. I love that. He has got such a great practice, truly. If you are looking for a new physician that truly cares about your metabolic health, the doctor that goes on hikes with you, that will answer your phone call, your text, you've got to go to Brian, and you need to go to their website. Tell me your website again.
Arizona Metabolic Health.com.
Perfect. I love that. I love
And
that.
we're in the Crossings.
Mm-hmm. We're in the Crossings because I took my dad over to an appointment the other day, and I was looking while I was over there, and I'm like, where is it in here?
Yeah, if you go into the Crossings, go all the way to the back. Yeah,
I didn't
make
go
a left,
far
and
enough.
we're over on the left side. Yeah, we're in our own little building over there, and it's
Gotcha.
It's easy parking.
Oh,
Tons
good.
of parking. That's nice too.
Good because some of those don't have a lot
We're
of parking.
outside of that real hectic area.
Yeah. Good. I like that. Do you have plans for Christmas?
I'm going to be
what's
here.
What's the doctor doing?
Yeah, we're going to be here. We go back and forth to Santee, California, which is in San Diego, and see our kids and spend time there. So we're this year is kind of hectic because my medical assistant in California is getting married in the middle of next week. So we're making an extra trip out there. But usually I'm here 3 weeks out of the month and they're 1 week. And we're trying to stretch it out to be here for 6 weeks and there for 1 week. So it's a process.
That's cute. Oh, a Christmas wedding. Oh, that'd be so fun. Winter wedding. I like cold. I love the cold weather.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, and it's early enough because it was not right before the holidays. So we'll give her a break for that.
At least it's a little before Christmas. Yeah. What else new is going on at your practice?
Gosh, we're doing so much. We're just having fun. I'm doing a lot of the primary care stuff, a lot with diabetes management. That's really my, because we have such a pandemic of diabetes. So that's what I love to manage. So high blood pressure, all those things come with it. Diabetes comes with a constellation of things like high blood pressure and swelling in your feet and depression, anxiety. I manage all of those things. Wow. And we find through lifestyle, we can get people off of medications, and that's even more fun.
The first time you told me that, I was like, huh? It almost puzzled me. It's truly, I was like, so if they do this and this and this, they can get you off the meds. I was actually talking with my dad about it because he's a diabetic. And he goes, well, maybe we need to go see him. And I went, okay.
Yeah, bring him in.
Yeah.
Bring him in.
So,
especially someone who just got diagnosed, and that's the sad part is some of the highest diabetes diagnoses are happening in January because December, you got Thanksgiving, Christmas, and people are drinking and eating. All of a sudden, they just throw them. So their body says, look, I can't get rid of the sugar. What do you want me to do? Now you got diabetes. But that's extremely reversible, especially early on. If we wait 40 years, it's a lot harder to reverse. But tons of people, we get them off their meds or prevent them from going on it just through lifestyle.
So say that someone comes in, you have a new patient comes in and says, hey, doc, I heard that you're like this magical doctor that can reverse diabetes. You can help me reverse this. This is just kind of a hypothetical scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
How would you help them? How would that work? What would that look like?
Yeah, it's a team. It has to be a team. So you have to say, you can't go into the best football coach and say, I want to be Tom Brady.
Right.
You're going to have to do your work. Are you going to work out? Not everyone's going to be a doctor or a nurse or whatever. You got to go through the training. And so, it's a team. And I can kind of tell if someone says, just give me an injection, I'm not going to be the right doctor because that's the problem. We've gotten into this, like, give me a pill, fix it. But it's like, and you'll hear ads all the time. You lose weight, you don't have to exercise, you don't have to change what you're eating, and you just shoot this drug. And you'll think, well, that's not I don't think that's going to work long term.
No.
And we're seeing a lot of problems with that. So you have to, look at stress, sleep. The big ones are stress, sleep, cutting out processed foods as much as possible, getting your exercise, and then watching alcohol and quitting smoking. These are 5 things that we can do. Right. And so it makes a huge impact on patients' health. So it's been a lot of fun diving in and really once you educate people, no one wants to be sick. No one wants to be miserable. And so for years, I was doing the standard of care. Everyone was on medications, insulin, and then you see diabetes, number 1 cause of blindness, number 1 cause of amputation, number 1 cause of kidney failure.
It's terrifying.
And so you don't want to go on that road, So if we can reverse it, that's amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
How much does that help the healthcare system? And, when people don't get calls back from their doctors, they say there's a shortage of doctors, but we have an oversupply of sick people. So until the doctors can help their patients to be healthier, they're just going to be seeing them all the time.
Yeah.
And that's a problem with the system. And they get paid every time you come in. So for me, if you come in once or 10 times a month, I get paid the same. So I don't have no incentive to make you keep coming back.
Right, make you keep wanting to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I love that. Any more advice for our viewers before Christmas?
No, I think the biggest thing is watching your stress, getting your sleep, all these things we talked about. They seem so common sense, but again, people they go, my neck is killing me. Well, you've been walking around tense and stressed all day, and so that
It's
plays a role.
true.
So have fun, laugh, enjoy stuff, take a little time and not be hectic and busy the whole time.
Right.
Go walk around the neighborhood and look at the lights and see how
Right.
your neighbors decorated. There's so many great things about the holidays. It's
Oh,
such a
yeah.
beautiful time. We get a little chill in the
I
air
know.
and festivities downtown and all
Yeah.
those things. So I think just enjoying it, taking time, because so many times it's like it's over already. It's like anyone who's married, you plan forever, and then it's like, oh, we're
It's
married
just
and it's
gone.
done. Yeah, it's just over now. Now what?
Yeah.
So being able to stay on track so that you're not stressed. The worst thing that can happen to all of us, most of us have done that. We gained 10 or 15 pounds during the holidays. Now January comes like, oh no, now I don't feel like exercising. I'm exhausted. But other people who are staying healthy during the holidays, they feel great and they're avoiding illness when everyone else is getting sick. There's a lot to that,
I believe it.
So I think it just enjoying the moment and not taking it too serious.
I believe that. Well, thank you for coming in today. It's been wonderful having you back, and we'll jump into a New Year's on our next episode.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Megan.
Alright,
Thanks
you're
so much for having
welcome.
me.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Tell the wife I said
And
hello.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you to our viewers for watching. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of with AZ Metabolic Health. I'm Megan McClenahan, and this is Dr. Brian, and we'll see you next time.